Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another game of StarCraft 2. My name is Jethro and today we are continuing to look at Liquid.Hero's games. This one is between Liquid.Hero and Startale Ace. We do see that we are spawning here on Ohana LE and spawning in the southeastern corner as the red Protoss. This time around it is Liquid.Hero. And then spawning in the northwestern corner as the blue Protoss player Startale Ace. Now, we are of course on Ohana LE, and that means that this ramp is blockable by a single force field. That is very, very important in PvP because that means you can block a 4-gate with nothing but sentries, as long as you get that first sentry out on time and deny any sort of high ground access. You can continue to warp those sentries in, and as soon as you have 3, you can block inevitably and the 4-gate will fail. Now, as a result of that fact, and of the fact that it is, 2012 and 4-gates don't happen anymore all that often, I suspect that we won't see any 4-gates out of these players today. Instead, we'll likely see a mix of Robo and Blink play, or perhaps even some Stargate if people want to mix it up. Stargate plays can be very, very difficult to deal with for your opponent, doing all that harassment damage, and eventually transitioning into a strong Phoenix, Zealot, Immortal push. Very, very difficult to deal with, but we shall wait and see to see if any of these players choose that path today. In the meantime, we see Liquid.Hero being very, very diligent about his scouting, wants to make sure that there are no proxy pylons and subsequent proxy gates. This is a map that is of course a 2-player map, and as a result very proxy gateable. You can know where your opponent is immediately, come throw these pylons down, the gateways down in the third, the back of the natural, or even up in the main base over here or here. There are so many spots to do so, and Liquid.Hero being very careful to make sure that that is not happening to him here today. But we, of course, as the observer, see that it is not, and instead we have what are essentially mirrored builds from both players so far, playing completely standard. Of course, the cybernetics core of Liquid.Hero just a second or two ahead, nothing significant. Gonna have to wait just a few more moments to see the first discrepancies between these two players' builds, as yes, we have gas from both of these players. We should also note that beyond the scouting of his own base and no scouting at all, neither of these players have been to their opponent's base. They don't know what's going on. Now that's likely because they know that their opponent is a high-level pro player. They know his style, they're aware of what sort of things could come from this player, and are just going to be comfortable with that knowledge and choose not to scout and instead keep that probe home to keep that economy stronger, because even one probe out scouting on the map is a significant number of minerals missing from your economy. If you've never done the math, just, let all your probes mine and see how much you get in, say, a minute, and then let one probe go run around, do nothing, and see what the difference is. You will be surprised, I guarantee you. Now Liquid.Hero getting this Stalker out before any other units, choosing to skip that Zealot again, showing that he's not too worried about any sort of super early aggression, but continuing to scout for that proxy pylon, making sure there are no probes in his base or anything like that. At the same time, we see Startale Ace coming out, grabbing the Xel'Naga Watchtower, a little bit of map control, and confirming for himself that there are no probes or anything like that on the way. And in the meantime, we have had a Stargate go down, so Startale Ace, the first to choose his tech path, and it will be the Stargate. Very, very excited to see this out of Startale Ace once again. I mean, the Phoenix play is just so quick, so fast, difficult to deal with, but very, very exciting to cast and see. So that is fantastic. And the Twilight Council goes down for Liquid.Hero. Likely going to be a Blink play. I don't suspect DTs, though it is still a possibility. Liquid.Hero fighting for some map control in the meantime. He has scouted this probe with this other probe, I believe. Yes, and the probe does go down, and if I'm not mistaken, Startale Ace he does not know about this proxy pylon, so that may come back to bite him later. But in the meantime, we do see Liquid.Hero pushing forwards towards this tower. He will win this fight as he does outnumber the amount of stalkers of Startale Ace, and will get the Zealot for almost free. Startale Ace making a bit of a mistake there, but maintaining some of that map control, pushing back the stalkers for the time being, and allowing him to get another probe out to build a pylon. He does not have a Q quite yet, but I suspect proxy pylon will go down on that left side. In the meantime, Liquid.Hero pushing up towards the main base, going to try and do a little bit of pressure here. This is surprisingly early, sends the probe up and then decides to go for it. Not focusing the sentry as it does not have enough energy anyways, trying to get those stalkers instead. He will lose one himself and take down nothing of Startale Ace. Startale Ace getting the better side of that engagement, and at the same time getting the scouting done, getting a proxy pylon down, I suspect. Yes, there it is right there with this probe. And Liquid.Hero deciding to go for that robo and an additional gateway, likely going to go for the Blink Stalker play, as we do see Blink is about halfway done, of course. But right now he needs to be worried about his own defense. So Phoenix is getting a nice lift on all these Stalkers, and Startale's Ace Stalker is going to move up and pick off some Stalkers for free. Liquid.Hero cannot afford this right now, that is for sure. He only has one sentry with a couple force fields to block his ramp, and there are Phoenixes to do damage in the meantime. There's that more pylons going to try and wall off a little bit here. Very clever by Liquid.Hero. And we see that Robo was actually cancelled. So Liquid.Hero down to nothing but 3-gate Blink Stalker. This is going to be very, very difficult for him to defend this. The sentry is being lifted as well by those Phoenixes. No force fields are left after this one, although yes, just in time another force field is thrown down by the sentry that was just warped in. Liquid.Hero able to stave off this aggression for the time being, but it's going to be difficult as he has no really more tech coming on the way. I'm quite curious as to why he cancelled that robo. I suspected him to go with that Observer plus Blink combo. Very, very powerful combo. He could even get observers out on the map, say out over here or down here, to scout those Phoenixes better, to know where the harassment is coming, and then have another observer up here to blink up into the base. But I guess he's just going to go for something a little bit different, try and get more Stalkers out of those gateways. In the meantime, Blink's down out of the base, and is applying some aggression, taking down no Phoenixes, only getting some shield. And now he's in a little bit of trouble, as, Startale Ace has the larger army and the Phoenixes to help with that harassment. Liquid.Hero blinking towards his opponent's base and losing his proxy pylon. Some Zealots will move into the base as well, but things look a little bit messy here for Liquid.Hero. He's grasping at straws, just applying this aggression and throwing down an expansion behind it. To be quite honest, he's going to need to buy himself a pretty significant amount of time if he wants that expansion to go up, and I don't think he's going to get it here today. This aggression is the type of thing that he needs to do to buy himself that time, but with the style that Startale Ace is using with those Phoenixes, I think he should be able to scout it relatively quickly. That being said, he doesn't have any Phoenixes left, and there are no more in production, except, ooh, there's one right there. That should be able to scout things out quite nicely. Proxy Pylon also being found by Liquid.Hero and actually supply blocking Startale Ace, so that's a nice win for Hero there, as he struggles to catch up in supply, and ooh, Startale Ace throws down the expansion of his own. Make a look at the work count, things are remarkably even. So after some aggression back and forth, this game has evened out just a bit. Looking at the army supplies, Startale Ace, yes, is a little bit ahead as I suspected. Has that Immortal out, has at least one sentry with nice energy count, but both of these players relatively safe from one another for the time being. Gonna get these expansions up and then likely choose their late game tech paths, which will be Dark Templar for Liquid.Hero. Very interesting choice there. I suppose he thinks that there was not an early robo from his opponent, and as a result there may not be very many observers on the field. But I'm not sure if that's going to work for him, as, he's actively using his robo, him being Startale Ace. As soon as he smells those DTs coming, he can chrono boost out observers, and with that recently reduced observer build time, I suspect he will be able to deal with it quite accordingly. And Startale Ace also getting that blink up of his own. In PvP, whenever you're facing blink, you want to blink as well. That way you can deal with your opponent's mobility with your own mobility. Never want to be outmaneuvered in a mirror matchup, because that can just be very, very messy. Liquid.Hero pushing out with this probe as well. Gonna get some more proxy pylons up, trying to push up into the natural, but that's not going to do anything. More Stalkers and 2 Immortals up there. Very, very scary to deal with for these Stalkers. Perhaps going to try and blink into the main as well, but Startale Ace should be prepared for this. He has a pylon there, so he will scout it now. Yes, he will, moving his army immediately. Very nice grasping time out of Startale Ace. Blink almost finished for him as well. Ooh, a nice scout coming out of Liquid here. He's going to get in here. He's going to see the robo. Will he see the Warp Prism? I don't think he did, actually, unless he just barely caught it. But Startale Ace doing a nice job of hiding that and cleaning up that Stalker finally. Ooh, and a lot of Stalkers being lost by Liquid here. He blinks into the base trying to do some damage here, but I don't think he'll get too much done. Probes being pulled immediately to box these Stalkers off. A couple more Stalkers being warped in as well. These Stalkers should be cleaned up. The question is how many probes will die. In the meantime, Liquid.Hero actually trying to focus units here, not killing too many probes. And Startale Ace going for the counterattack. He will be greeted by Immortals, however, and he cannot afford to sacrifice Stalkers to those Immortals. Liquid.Hero giving up his natural base, says, oh, I cannot hold this. There are too many Stalkers, too many Immortals. Just going to pull back, trying to defend this off of one base. And not able to deal with these Dark Templar either. This is turning into a very, very messy game. Might even turn into a base trade. Some Immortals being dropped onto the high ground. Fantastic play by Startale Ace there. Getting past those force fields with Blink and Immortal drops. Liquid.Hero's units are going to be able to hold out, I suspect, as he warps in more. This is very close. There's still 2 Immortals up for Liquid.Hero versus the 1 for Startale Ace, however. And plenty of Zealots as well. Liquid.Hero looks like he's going to be able to close this one out as the Dark Templars continue to do damage in the base. And yes, there it is. GG. Startale Ace not quite able to hold off that constant aggression out of Liquid.Hero. I thought that Hero would be behind, but turns out that blinking up into his opponent's base and getting those ZTs up in there was enough to hurt the economy of Startale Ace in a manner such that it was irrecoverable. Startale Ace is then forced to do one final push, and he was not able to get past these Immortals of Liquid.Hero. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name is Jethro, and that was Ace versus Hero.